Hello and welcome to another episode of Chat G&G. He's Grizz.
And this is Gags.
How you doing, bro? Long time. It's been 2 weeks, man. 2 weeks.
We can't let this happen again, honestly. But absence makes the hearts fonder.
Absence makes the heart grow fonder.
Yeah, 3/4 of the way there, 75%. Yeah, come on. I've got most of it. I got the keywords. And then if you put the keywords together in a sentence, I always find then the rest of the sentence you can make and understand.
That's it.
But yeah, we can't let this happen again. Of course, unforeseen circumstances for both of us. Busy. But it's you can't have 2 weeks of not speaking about Liverpool, right?
Absolutely. We can't do that again. But yeah, so 1 or 2 weeks it has been. What have we missed since we last spoke? We've been winning apart from the midweek, which nobody really bothers about.
No.
Okay.
Well, I guess a good point to start would be our concerns that we had at the start of the month-ish, as compared to how we're feeling come the end of the month-ish. Well, literally the end of the month, not ish. So literally the end of the month. So our primary concerns, or can I suggest your primary concerns, were with regards to fitness and game and load management predominantly. How are we feeling now? I guess both of us.
So I'm feeling good. I'm feeling pretty good. I think, just having, what's the one injury we've got at the moment? Is it just one injury at the moment?
Just Curtis Jones?
Just Curtis. So that is a worry, to be honest, because he doesn't seem to trust Endo to rotate with Szoboszlai or any of the others. So with what's coming up, we're lucky. I think that the way the fixtures have fallen now in Jan and Feb are really, really in our favour, just like towards the end of Jan, start of Feb. As in, we've got the game tomorrow, and then it's Thursday. So we get nice 4 days between games. Like it's a 4-day gap, which is good. Normally, anything less than 3 or 3 and under means you're going to be hurting the fatigue index side. Then after that, we rest everybody for Plymouth again on Sunday. And it's basically Wednesday. So it's a 6-day gap between games for the first
team.
Is,
where I want to argue with you already, not argue as such, but where I kind of differ with you is where you say it's fallen and lucky. I've been adamant that this is all strategically planned. I genuinely want to give credit to the medical staff, new medical staff, let's add, to the new physio team, sports science team, and to the coaching staff, Slot and his coaches. I genuinely was of the belief that we're working towards, because do you remember he said he spoke to Jurgen Klopp? Arne Slot says, right? He spoke to Arne Slot, he spoke to Jurgen Klopp and asked him about the fall off and why he thought they fell off in the second half of the season or around this period. And from what we know of Slot so far, I think he's so clued on with stuff like this, Gags. I genuinely believe that. I think he takes every piece of information on board. I think his attention to detail is amazing. I genuinely believe that, and I believed that, and now the proof is in the pudding. Even Curtis Jones was an innocuous. I think it's a not serious injury or anything. It's a matter of a week or two as opposed to serious or anything like that. So I think it's strategically planned, all this game load time management, and we were both exchanging messages in the week, like we were so happy that he's going to take a bum squad, with all due respect to everyone that was in the squad, but he's taking a bum squad to PSV, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's fantastic that he did that. It really helped. I mean, had we not been top of the league and only, we didn't even need to win in the end, but we only needed to draw to stay top. And to be honest, top or first or second, I think that's why it didn't matter at this point. But had it been different in the Champions League, I think he would have played a stronger team. That's where I'm saying, I mean, that's not lucky. We make our own luck in that sense. Where we got lucky is the Plymouth game more than anything. That it's not a It's not a strong team. I think if it was a Premier League team, I think he would be playing a stronger team in that game, and that's where it would hurt.
Stronger, but not strongest again, because that's the way he would
But
have planned this.
still, stronger is still bad. Like it shouldn't be.
We've
You
got
know,
to
it
play
wouldn't.
games though. That's the price of success, Gags. We have
Yeah,
to
but
play
we
games of
no,
football.
but the FA Cup is not success, mate. Sorry, we
No,
differ. It's not.
don't go there. Don't
No.
go there.
If it
We're
costs you a
Liverpool
league
Football Club.
title, is it success? Was it
Oh, of
success
course.
2 years ago when we won the League Cup and the FA Cup, or 3 years ago and we missed out on the league and the Champions League? Was that a success for you?
Absolutely, but we're in a total different place emotionally, physically as well. That's the pain. The mental state of this squad, as compared to the mental state of the squad and physical state of the squad this time last season, is chalk and cheese.
Sorry, I'm
Gags.
not talking last season. I'm talking the year that we were in for a quad.
Yeah,
That was
but
mental state was the best ever. Like, you know, you could argue we never went that far in that many trophies and got to the Champions League final. We went into the last week of the season with a chance of winning everything. Like I don't think many teams can say that they've done that in England. And what, you know, it just
but these are rarities. These are anomalies as opposed to sort of and you'd like to think as a club, or especially if the people were involved, or the people that were involved in those campaigns will have learned, will have spoken, will have consulted and said, we have to be better prepared this time around. And I look, call me deluded or positive or top red or whatever, but I'm so positive this time around. I just think it's a different air of belief around us.
Yeah, I think you're an optimist, and I don't want to just yet be an optimist. I want it.
I don't think it. But it's optimism based on a lot of statistical backup data right now. Gags.
What data?
The fact that we have literally blitzed this league, the fact that we're on 53 points, the fact that we've got a fully fit squad, the fact that our depth in all the positions that
do you not think some of the squad's tiring at all though? Like I can see it, you can't see any of that. So you don't know
not right now.
The stats actually say that most of the squad has played in the average minutes that they normally do in a season at this point of the season. So
did you
if
see the
performance? There's a risk.
Did you see the performances of the last couple of games? Did you see a fatigue in the second half of Forest and then on to Brentford and then on to Ipswich? Like we have to analyze the game and see the performance with our eyes as opposed to just reading the minutes played. I respect and I appreciate that, but I don't.
Actually, Forest,
this time last season,
first 60 Forest, I would argue no. I did see it, and and then off the corner, you know, we score and that changes the game at that point. But yeah, you know, the corner. I mean, that was real. I mean, you can say it's quality. You could say that, you know, corners getting it so perfect. That was a perfect storm there. We didn't win the game in the end, but we should have against Forest. But that gave us that kind of boost to finish that game really well. I think what the difference is if we keep conceding first, which we have been, you know, this season again, we started doing a lot come into like October, November, December. Thankfully, we've stopped since Forest. You know, Brentford we didn't concede, and Ipswich was a late goal for them, which doesn't matter. And also Ipswich, thankfully, that was just a training game in the end. I've never seen anything like it where we were just waltzing around the pitch in the second half. They just didn't even have to do anything. It was brilliant. So again, that does save some legs. You know, not much sprinting going on, which is great. But if we keep having this many cup games, if we keep going further in the FA Cup and we get Premier League teams, I think Slot will go stronger, and that's where I really worry. Now, there is one caveat, and that's that the next 4 games are huge in the Premier League. And we were messaging about it the other day. 3 of them are away from home. We've got Bournemouth tomorrow, we got Everton in a couple of weeks, and then we got Man City the week after. Those are 3, and if you think about it, in their own ways, they're tricky because Bournemouth on a run, Everton just because they just had a manager bounce, and that's the last derby at Woodison. It's huge, dude. Like no matter what anyone says, it's going to be a cup game. And then City are City. Now, the good thing about City is they're playing Real Madrid, second leg, just before us. So that's great because they'll have to go full pelt. Hopefully, they get absolutely battered, so their confidence is low. So again, that may have been lucky for us and that is lucky because it's a luck of a draw. That's what they call it. But I'd say then before the City game, those three, there's Wolves in between, which I hope we could win at home. But those three are those are like this focus. And I said to you, out of those four, if we got, what was it? No, sorry, those three away games. If we got 7, so if we got 10 points plus out of the 4, I actually think we'll win the league. Then I'll be in. Then it'll be.
So
plain
you're
sailing at that point.
so you're 4 away. You're
4
pretty
games.
much 3. Okay, you're pretty much 4 games away from reaching my levels of optimism that you're calling
Yeah.
it, right?
Yeah.
Whereas
you know why though as well? You know why?
Go
Because
on.
Arsenal have a tough run in there. They're playing City this weekend. The
Yep.
getting the win tomorrow is so important because if Arsenal lose to City, it's that we were saying 10 games. It's then down to 8 because we won
This is
one
my
and they
point.
lost one.
So
So
this is my point. I'm reeling it back, okay? And we've both bloody watched Liverpool over the years under Klopp, right? Stylistically, emotionally invested, right? And we've seen it how stylistically Klopp approached these kind of games and these periods, right? And we know it was all very emotional and it was draining. Like we were tired just watching games, right? And speaking about them, right? So we were tired, and I want to know, and people that are watching, listening, by the way, we haven't once asked you to like the stream, and it shows because we haven't even reached double figures. So can you all stop doing what you're doing, including listening to us, and like the stream right now? Because that would absolutely help us. It's a small thing for you, but it's a massive thing for us. Subscribe if you haven't, like if you haven't, and if you're watching us on Twitter or Facebook or all the other platforms, come over to the YouTube channel, subscribe and like, and then we can carry on. Thank you. Right.
this is a good point as well, Grizz.
Go on.
If we reach Carabao, so if we beat Spurs next Thursday, the Villa game comes forward, and that's away. So we end up getting 4 aways out the next 5.
No problem. It's the price of success. Yeah, but this is it. It's a price of success and bring on the big games. For me, the way I'm approaching it and looking at it is very much based off how Slot and Liverpool have made me feel this season, Gags. They've given me this. I used to be crapping it this time of season normally in terms of every game is oh my God, even if we drop a point, it's all over. Do you get what I mean? There's a calmness, there's a serenity with this team and this coach now. And I'm looking forward to every game in the hope and in the positive mindset of it's one step closer, Gags. What we just discussed 4 or 5 weeks ago, we were talking about a period of games, and if we can overcome those games, I think we said 4 points. Give us 4 points out of Brentford away and Forest away and Ipswich at home, 7 points. We got those 7 points. Okay. Now we're looking at Bournemouth away, Everton away, Wolves at home. Give us another 7.
No.
Give us another 7.
No, that's going to be 9.
It doesn't have to be 9.
I want it to be 9.
I know you want it to be 9.
I want it to be until the City away game, which is
Raji, I want it to be 9. I want it to be 9. But what I'm saying is now your levels of optimism. I'm going to scrutinize.
No, I want it to be 9 because I just want to win the league as soon as possible, so that
I agree.
Then in March, if we get through Feb and we win every game in Feb, literally in March, we can focus on the Champions League and on the FA Cup and on the Carabao.
I don't believe in this focusing. I think when you're in this momentum and you're in this vein of bring on every game, I think you have to capitalize as much as you can. I think if you stop and start, this was a given that we're going to stop and send out a bum squad to PSV. This was the plan. I don't think moving on, apart from if we get a home draw in the FA Cup against the likes of Plymouth like we have, we put out bum squads now. I think it's pretty much all systems go now. And this is where the squad, I feel, and the players have been primed to do this season. I'm excited, Gags Tandon. Let us know how you guys are feeling, because I'm excited. Jatin says, wouldn't it be a bad return if the Villa game is brought forward? 7 of our last 11 Premier League games will be at Anfield, Gags Tandon. 7 of our 11. So it's literally
In our
getting
hands.
over this patch.
Yeah, this
This
is it. This is what I'm saying. Why do you
Mm.
think I keep focusing on, when you look at the fixtures and they turn out like this, it's just like, if this happens, it's going to be mental. I mean, getting through, if we can win every game up to the City game and including the City game, that means even if Villa turn up in there, Grizz, we're on for an all-timer. We're on
Wow.
for an all-timer season, like never before. Like, this would surpass the stuff. I know we've done that big run of winning all those games, but this is different. This is different because this is a first-time manager turning up and doing this in the Premier League. I know Chelsea fans have experienced this, but we haven't. We haven't.
But this is it. The momentum has been building slowly but surely throughout. First, we thought, "Oh, it's a great, it's okay start. Wow, that's a good start." Okay, and more substance and meat has been added to the theories of, no, he's actually a brilliant coach. No, he's actually a student of the game. No, actually, our players are coming back quicker than we normally used to anticipate. The recovery is much better. The squad management, time management. I know you're saying a lot of players have played a lot of minutes, their average minutes of what they've been doing. And I absolutely respect and appreciate you look into these kind of things. But you have to look at the eye test along with that. And to me, they look fresh as a daisy at the moment. Luke says we actually played better. We actually played better away from home. In his opinion, don't think Anfield crowd doesn't suit Slot's style as much as Klopp's. What do you think about that? That's actually not a bad point. Like the atmosphere, we're more patient, isn't it? Like we're used to.
We want to be rowdy. The crowd wants to be rowdy.
We want to be rowdy.
Anfield wants to go nuts. This is like Gerard Houllier now, where it's just calm. But actually,
great shout, Rafa.
And also Rafa. He was going to say Rafa's this. You know what Slot reminds me a lot of Rafa?
Go on.
Just reminds me of him. He's just very calm. Just very calm. I mean, the only thing is Rafa got a bit twisted in the end, but it's because he had an ownership group that he was at war with most of the time, whereas Slot's kind of not got any of those problems, thankfully. And also Rafa couldn't get a player in. There was no money for him to buy anyone he really majorly wanted. He was on shoestrings, whereas I think Slot will end up getting players in the summer. I really do. I just think it needs some planning and stuff, but he'll end up getting people in. Also, maybe the question is, Klopp's set this up very, very, very nicely for Slot. By the way, can I just say, Abdul, I know you're going to keep asking for contract news from Grizz. We ain't got no news. So
yeah, but the thing is, you're starving for the wrong thing, guys. Yeah. This is not the time. This is not the time to be focusing on things out of our control. Leave that into the hands of the big boys, and then we can scrutinize. I'll say the same thing again and again and again. We can only speak and analyze and scrutinize once decisions have been made. Either way, right? Because we've done the speculation and we've done the what anyone hears or anything and the rumors, and it's been proven to be no one is in the lurch of anything. So that's been proven, right? Including myself. I was told that they will try to be concluded in January for 100% certain. They haven't been. So I was told the wrong thing. Now what we do is where we are right now is we've just spoken about the excitement, the possibilities, the lure of trophies and the latter stages of the Champions League and the League Cup. If we can turn over Spurs and, let's focus our energy, in my opinion, on supporting these mighty Reds to get over the line. Because a league title, for me, Gags, I don't know where you stand, actually. We haven't discussed this, actually. For me, a league title means much more than contract renewals. Controversial or understandable?
Nope. Totally understandable. We're starving. If you're starving for something, it should be a title. Like at the end of the day, I think the fans really right now need to get it in their head that this might go to May. Like the contract stuff might just go all the way to May until everyone's convinced that Slot's the second coming because we won so much, and people then back down from demands and one person will decide what he wants and then the dominoes will fall. So at the end of the day, We just probably want to hold and just be patient with it. Focus on the football now, folks. Like Grizz says, focus on the football, because we never got to celebrate the last one in 2020. And, that was taken out of our hands by whatever the shit was going on in the world, right? But this time, we're hoping none of that shit happens to the world. Hopefully, the world stays sane so that Liverpool can get through this 3 months and lift that trophy in that stadium, that historic stadium. Imagine watching your boys lift that in the modern day in front of a full 60,000 seater stadium now that it's been built up and made. And imagine the noise, imagine the streets, imagine all of us online and in the world, because it's not just people in Liverpool, it's people everywhere in the world. Just imagine what it's going to feel like. It's going to be better than 2020. And we never imagined that would happen.
And this is where I'm trying to get towards, right? We always say imagine, but and it's been relatively, a couple of times it's been very close to actually becoming the truth and reality. But how far are we now? We're actually not. We're actually under. Look, I think we're in the final furlong. I think we're in the final. This is what we've been saying. Now, if we can get a positive result, i.e. a win tomorrow, I believe that brings us down into single-digit wins needed. And was it Bob who said earlier on, 7 out of our last 11 games are at home?
If we beat Spurs, yeah. If we beat Spurs, 7 out of 11 is incredible.
What do you mean?
If we beat Spurs in the cup and we knock them out, then the Carabao takes that Villa game. The Villa game moves forward. That's why. So the final is on the weekend when Villa were playing Villa. So what they'll do is they'll move that like 3-4 weeks earlier and put it into that gap where the Champions League game would be. But we don't have a Champions League game, so they put it there. So that's why that game is actually moving forward. So otherwise it would have been 6 in 11, but it becomes 7 because of that one moving forward. So we end up getting a lot of away games in this stretch rather than over there.
What do you think about that? Is there any? Does it change anything?
I mean, Bob made a good point. Or Bob, or who was it? Was it Luke? Luke said that we're better away from home. He might be right, So maybe we get these games out of the way, win the title away first.
We're not bad at home. I mean, saying that, I don't know why Luke thinks that. We're not better away from. We're not. Oh, sorry, we're not. Yeah, we're not better away from home, are we? Statistically,
I think we've dropped less points. We lost at home and we didn't lose away. So, and we drew 2 at home and we've drawn 2 away. So it's fair. Yeah, we are better away at the moment. It's minor. It's like really tiny. Like it's a loss and a win, like or a draw. It's something like that.
No, fair. I didn't know that. Okay, well, I did know that, but the way you've broken it down, actually, that's true. That's good point. Yeah. But I do think that point about where's that about the crowd, and like we were talking about under Klopp, we wanted just gung ho and get at them and end to end. This is it. Anfield wants to attack, but sometimes Slot just wants to chill a bit with the ball. I mean, look, you've been to Anfield this season as well, and I've been numerous times. What do you think then, in terms of the atmosphere and stylistically? Do we have to adapt as well? Does the crowd in general have to?
I haven't been this year actually. Because I've been doing this as well. Post match, I'm doing all the post matches on YouTube.
Of course.
But I can hear it, and it's only the big games where we're up for it. I think the Champions League nights are definitely still there. But I think it's a different crowd at league games. I do think it's a different crowd to the members, the season ticket holders, members. I think it's a little bit different. But also, league games happen a bit earlier in the day mostly, and it's very rare. It's 1 or 2 a month in the evening, whereas all Champions League games are at night. Everyone's had a bit of a drink, and they're a bit more rowdier. So I think that's what.
But in terms of adapting to the tempo that slot teams play under. Like, we have to appreciate that it's a different tempo. It's not always going to be gegenpress. But there has been instances where we let the opposition have the ball, right?
But this is why you might be so confident, because this is going to support your theory rather than mine, in that he basically only lets the team sprint when they really need to, whereas Klopp's team sprinted the whole blimming game all the time, back and forth, back and forth. Whereas Slot's like, hey, if we're behind or if we're drawing, we're going to sprint. We're going to smash this. As soon as we're ahead, I want you to hold and then break them down. If we get a few more after that, great. But it's like we're ahead. If they're going to attack us, we're going to catch them on the counter. He's now adapting. I mean, Gary Neville paid a massive compliment. Did you hear that? To this Liverpool team where he said, they remind me of Alex Ferguson's Man United.
Oh, did he?
Where we could play every style of football. So if we wanted to go gung-ho, we can. If we want to pull it back, we can. If we want to play counter-attack, we can. He says this slot Liverpool team, or how he's got them set up, can play in, they can adapt to any style during one game. In the one game, you could see 3 different styles. And he says that is the recipe for winners, because he's been one. And to be honest, for once, he's talking sense. I mean, I don't really like what he says a lot because he's very biased, but hey, so is Kara. But that was a really good point, I thought. And I never thought of it like that until he'd said it. That we just have those different.
But this is again where I think, yeah, you're right. I agree with him. And obviously we're going to like his comments when he's positive about Liverpool. But, but I have seen that, like, in terms of what kind of style do we... So look, for example, I absolutely hated getting bullied off the park in a couple of games. For example, let's reference the Merseyside derby last season, where they really bullied us off the park. Now, I don't recall any game this season where we've been bullied off the park. Arsenal tried to bully us off the park at Emirates, but we stood up and was counted, especially in the second half. We've been to Forest, who tried to bully us. We didn't get bullied. We've been to Brentford, who are a physical team. And then we've played the footballing sides as well. Tomorrow, I think, will be, and I guess we're kind of segueing into the main event, which is Bournemouth away tomorrow. Tomorrow is a test of what sorts for you? Is it a test? Is it a physical test? Is it a footballing skills test? Is it a combination? What do Bournemouth bring to the table for us?
Oh, I think it's more about adaptability to other teams for us, really, tomorrow. We cannot go too gung-ho against them because they'll be really good. It's also, what surprises me the most about Bournemouth is no one closes down Clivert when he's shooting at distance, like from distance. Like nobody. He scored so many bangers in the last 3 or 4 weeks from distance. Why is nobody on him? Like, why is nobody on him at all times? You stop that. You stop some of those bangers. They don't get on top of you, and then they don't. It's not like they're, amazingly going to be all the way on top. It's some counter. Some of those crosses are good. They've got some pace up top. They're good on the counter. We just need to control them. If we can control them, get ahead first. They probably aren't used to that right now. And that's the next test for them. So I think what we've got is, it's endurance tomorrow for sure. Going there, nice little stadium, a lot of noise in a little stadium. We've lost there before under Klopp, where we were proper away and winning, and then they came back and won 4-3. It's going to be one of the worst ones that we've done. I think, I think, yeah, we just have to go there and manage that game. It's right at the start. We cannot concede first. We cannot. I wouldn't mind letting them go at us, to start with. But Slot never does that. Have you noticed? He plays his game and he doesn't care. He doesn't. He's just like, yep, this is how I'm playing. And if they go ahead, they go ahead. We're going to have to come back from behind. And as Ali A says here, they got a great record. I mean, we've got a great record at Bournemouth, but they've got a great record at home this year.
Do you think, I like the fact that there's so much focus on Bournemouth, and that there's so much hype and there's so much talk about Bournemouth and the way they play and everything else, because I think it makes us aware and ready for it. There's no excuses for us in that sense. What do you think? Because we should know. We know about the pitfalls. We know about the strengths. We know about, like you said, Clivert scoring bangers, Semeyu, his strengths, Utara, who scored a hat-trick last week, wasn't it? We know about their strengths. We know about Kirkes, reportedly a Liverpool target. So it's been brought to the limelight. I like that. There's
Yeah,
no
I do too.
uncertainty. It's not an element of surprise. We're not going to be surprised with anything Bournemouth throw at us, right?
But the pressure is all on us, like not on them at all. They're not
Absolutely.
expected to win. You know, they've beaten City and Arsenal and whoever, and Forest now at home. They've beaten 3 of the top 4 at home. So it is pressure on us to say, can you hack this or not? And I think we need to learn. And one of the things that Slot is a learner and you know, he's a student of the game, and I think he's going to have a plan for them tomorrow. So unless, you know, they catch us on a bad day, but with the rest we've had, I would be really disappointed, Grizz, if we don't come away with a win tomorrow. Just because we've rested, we're full strength, we shouldn't be, you know, messing about at all.
People
And
are saying that there's been a tweet or from Paul Joyce, but it's not tweet as such. I think he's just what's the word? He's just conveyed the message. I'll just read it out where it says there is a growing belief or expectation around the club that Virgil van Dijk will be remaining at the club.
yeah,
So there you go. You know, it's not all the doom and gloom with regards to contracts. And if you think if Paul Joyce has brought out an article on the eve of such a big game, then he must have been briefed something positive, right, Gags?
of course.
Yeah, here's a quote. There remains an expectation around Liverpool that Van Dijk will stay at the club and that he can uphold his standards for a couple of years at least. There you go.
Yeah, I mean, I am confident about that one only. I'm not confident about any of this. We just want to point out, Grizz, this is our first ever super chat. Thank you, Ilyas. And he just wants to ask you a question on whether you think McConnell could be used in the Prem.
No.
Nope. Me too.
But I hope he's
unless we
not
get injuries.
Yeah. I hope he's not needed because that will suggest there's injuries or massive, huge loss of form on our current 5 or 6 even maybe, if you want to put Endo in there as well, on top of Elliott. So that will suggest that there's injuries or a massive, huge loss of form. But then on the flip side, even if he is asked to play, I think he's shown enough. I'm a massive fan of this guy. 2 pre-seasons ago, I tweeted one to keep an eye on because he really impressed me in pre-season, and it was McConnell. I thought he had a bit of everything when I saw him. Now, 2 years later, I think he's grown physically. There was talk about there was people saying he's 6'1" now. He's filled out. Yep. And I think
I like him.
I think he has a bright future.
Me too. I really like him a lot. I like what I see. He's really good in the challenge. Is the best bit about it. He is not afraid to go in, you know. And he's making mistakes in games, but he's a kid. He's got to make mistakes. Like it's so funny when people say we can't play the kids, man. They make too many mistakes. How the hell are they going to learn? Like you got to fall over to walk. It's one of those things you can't until you don't play and make mistakes. You don't get better. So we got.
This is it. But this kind of maybe some of the chat around slight negatives with the weekend, with the midweek game, in terms of we've spoken about the pros like Chiesa getting 90 minutes, and we'll touch upon that as well if you want.
He looked great.
But you've spoken about kids and making mistakes and how they're going to learn. Brings me to the Quansah chat. There's a lot of Quansah chat in and around social media about does he need a loan? Is he good enough for Liverpool, etc., etc.? What's your thoughts on the situation with Jerry Quansah?
Would I like someone who's better than him in defense? You know, as a fourth CB, absolutely, I would. I think the manager has kind of frozen him out at the start of the season. The manager does seem like he doesn't trust him as much, so that shows that he probably doesn't rate him as much. And I actually think if Slot gets a chance to sign a centre back or 2 in the summer, then he will be one of the ones that probably goes along with Gomez. and we'll probably still have 4. We need to have 5, but it looks like it will be like that. But I hope Gomez would change his mind. He really wanted to go this summer, but we wouldn't let him. It would be interesting.
But I think he's come out since then and said, "I've changed my mind." Like, it's not as though he will change back. Like he said, there was the option.
He could.
Well, he could. You're right. He could. Yeah.
He could. I mean, at the end of the day, he does not get the minutes, and he wants to play. And I can understand Joe Gomez wanting to be first choice at another Premier League club. How can you deny him that? He's won everything with us. I wouldn't be upset at him at all, to be honest. But yeah, if he would love to stay, like you're saying, Grizz, I would keep him no matter what, just because he's a utility player as well, can play, both fullbacks and centre back. It's great for us to have him in the squad. And then if it's Quansah that we just have to replace, or maybe buy 2 CBs in, then I agree that, well, the only thing that impressed me of Quansah this week was the ball carrying towards the end of the game. He looked really sharp with dribbling through their midfield with the ball, but he needs to do more than that. He needs to be better defensively. He needs to, get his head on the ball more. He needs to be better in all those things. And I think, again, he's young. He can get better, but I don't think the manager rates him. That's the problem. It's not about whether I think. I don't think the manager would have played him way more and rotated way more earlier this season if he fancied him. And taking him off in that first game showed something, really, that, hey, you can't keep getting bullied by these players. And he was getting bullied that first half. And since then, I think that might have shaken his confidence a bit too. So,
yeah, but I think in this kind of situation, it's the making or the breaking of a player. I get that aspect of breaking, but I think it can make him as well. To me, he comes across as a kid that knows his deficiencies and weaknesses. To me, he comes across as a guy who's very self-critical, and I think he knows the things. And we forget that centre backs, it's not an age to be speaking and writing off centre backs, in my opinion.
No, you're right.
It's absolute not an age to write off a centre.
He doesn't have any pace, though, bro. That's one of the big problems. We need a pacey centre back in there.
There was a centre back called Sami Hyypiä who played for us a few seasons ago.
I'm sorry, you are comparing Sami Hyypiä to Quansah.
I assure you, I'm not. I'm assuring you, a 21-year-old Sami Hyypiä was nowhere near the levels of playing the levels of football Gerald Quansah is.
He's not showing that he's going to be a Sami Hyypiä for me.
To me, he has. He was tremendous last season. Absolutely tremendous last season. And we were shouting from the rooftops.
He was good.
No, we're not doing revisionism. Honestly, we're not. We can't just suddenly say, he's the future. No,
I wasn't on podcast last year, so I wasn't impressed as much as the people
that wasn't impressed. You wasn't impressed with Quansah last season.
I wasn't impressed as everybody else. I thought he still had weak points. Not as good in the air as others. I just think there's some.
I'm astounded. People in the chat, let Gags know about Quansah last season and how good he actually was.
He was good. I didn't say. You're saying he was outstanding. He was imperious. He
was part of the team that we're speaking about, going for all 4 trophies up until pretty much the last 6 weeks.
Yeah, and then
come on, put credit on a kid's name. But he's a kid.
Yeah, that's fine. But he wasn't. He was good. Like I said, I didn't say he was not good. I said he was good.
Mad, Quansah was brilliant last season for his first season in the Premier League.
Yeah, he was good up until
Virgil was poor, up until Salah dropped off, up until Nunes dropped off, up until all much more senior and experienced players were as well.
And so Arj says here, he lacks athleticism, though. You can't buy that. He lacks a bit of agility for me when 1v1 in defending. I see that too. As Arj.
He'll be fine. I think writing off Quansah at this age is mad and ludicrous. I think he'll be absolutely fine. He's got aspects that he can get better. He's got aspects that he has to improve. We know this. But as a 4th choice, under 23 centre back, you're not going to get a prime or finished article.
No, you won't. No, you won't. You asked me if you thought he would play, he's a good player for us that should start. I don't think he is. And
that's fine. I know, I agree with that. That's fine. But
there's a few people now saying he's average as well. So there's Jamie, and then also Ilyas as well.
Yeah, but these
But
are like
LFC Mad,
Ilyas.
LFC Mad also thinks the same as you. They'll grow until he's about 25, 26.
Yeah, he's 21 years old. I'm ignoring all you lot that's writing him off. I'm sorry, I'm ignoring all of you lot that are writing him off at the age of 21, playing at the highest level.
No
There is
one's
not
writing him
many.
off. You
There
asked
is.
the question,
There,
and
there's
we're just answering the question, dude. Like you
narrative.
think he's good enough? No, I don't think he is.
No, but there's no, but of course, and I agree with that aspect. But what I'm saying, the narrative is he needs to go out. My original question or point
No,
was,
I don't think he needs to go out. I don't think he needs to go on loan.
or sold.
Only I would only sell him. Like if it was me deciding, I'd keep him and buy some more centre backs so that he can
So
grow.
for
with
example,
But-
this is how much Slot values him, or the club value him. He was offered in the Newcastle deal for Gordon, and we said no way, we're parting with Quansah. Quansah plus 40 million they wanted, and we said no. We'll say we'll give you straight cash, but we're not giving Gerald Quansah. That's how much the club believe in him, and I think that's a massive positive.
Should I give you a controversial one?
No, absolutely. See, now you're talking about physicality, athleticism, etc., etc. Yeah, I wasn't a fan of Sepp Vandenberg, for example. I see differences in Gerald Quansah and Sepp Vandenberg. Now, Sepp Vandenberg had the pace. Apparently, he top speed in Bundesliga. Apparently, he's one of the quickest centre backs. You wouldn't think it looking at him from the eye test. I see Quansah. I see Quansah developing. Yes, he's had a bad season. Yes, he's been bad this season. He's had a rough patch. But there's no way I'm thinking that's Quansah's Liverpool career over with. No chance.
So we've got more here. He was good, not brilliant, lacks awareness, prone to hiccups, but he's 22. Grizz, don't you think it's more of a worry that he looks mentally broke at the moment?
Yeah, he's a kid. That's why. It's mentally, you're not going to get mentally. We have to give context to the level we're playing at. Every decision, every error he makes, every game is a high profile where the world's eyes are on him. He's playing next to Virgil van Dijk, who's imperious, who's impeccable, who very rarely makes a mistake. So therefore, there's far more scrutiny than Gerald Quansah than there is on any other centre-back of his age group in Europe. Possibly the only outstanding centre-back who's playing at a very high level is the Barcelona Kubarsi, who's fantastic. Yeah. But there's not many others that are under 21 playing at this level with this much scrutiny. Guys, we're going for all 4 trophies. Whether we get there, whether we don't, of course, we know it's very, very unlikely. But he's been asked to come in and play at the levels of Van Dijk. It's just not realistic right now.
Let's pivot to Chris. Thank you, Chris, for the super chat. I hope Chiesa gets a league start soon. I don't know what it is about him, but his shots on target 10 to 4 saves that allow others to follow up and score. What do you think about Chiesa? Let's pivot to this guy. I said something on Twitter about him today, but let's you go first.
What did you say? Let's go around what you said and work our way around there.
He was interviewed and he came across really, really well, like really likable. And you know all those crappy rumors about how he wants to leave and all that thing, that were coming out in the press. He literally just said, I love this club and I love Liverpool. I love the fans. I love the whole atmosphere of the players. He's treated so well, and they're being lovely to him. You can see how they're taking the piss a little bit, and with his accent, but he loves that, it seems. And I just tweeted, if there's one player that I would wish for us to go on a run at the most important point of this season and go on a mad run, it's him. It's him. So remember, I did this on the other pod. Can you remember Ronnie Rosenthal?
Yep.
So in the olden days, we could sign players whenever you bloody wanted, and it was fun, right? You could just bring in a player from a different league. Hey, was he Israeli league, or I don't know where he came from, but he came from some league like that. He just came in and won us the league title. Like, he just went on a blitz scoring run for the last 10 games, and we won the title that year. And that was the last title we won for like 30 years or something. But that's the kind of thing I'm wishing for Chiesa to do for us. When the other players are tired, when the other players are down, we got this fresh guy halfway through the season comes in.
Eager beaver.
Bang.
Eager, and he's very eager. He's very excitable. He's got a
Oh,
low.
yeah.
Hopefully, these 6 months have been working towards his fitness and his agility and his strength and his conditioning. And he comes in, and I think that's a very good example. Obviously, Chiesa is far more high profile than Ronnie Rosenthal was. But if he has that similar effect, because the younger viewers and listeners won't know, but Ronnie Rosenthal was literally a rocket, like Ronnie's rockets. Like he just came in and just invigorated, like sort of full of fuel and energy. And if Chiesa can do something similar, I think he'll be probably. Would you say, Gags? Here's a good talking point, let people. Would it be the best 12 million spent since Shaqiri? Because Shaqiri had a similar effect.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. It would be the best 12 million spent. If he goes on that run, I mean, imagine if he does it in Europe, where we need him on the rotations, because that's where he's going to come clutch, right? In Europe, I think Chiesa playing away games in Europe could come real solid for us because he's got that mentality as well. Like when you can do it in Euro finals, things like that, and you can play well at the biggest stage. He's proven it already. He doesn't need to prove it to anybody. He's mentally solid as they come. Just needs to get a run in the team and get the players used to him. I want to be really excited, but there's obviously something here that someone said about him here. Where is it? Pray that, yeah, Bob Paddock says, pray Chiesa is fit. He will cook for us. That's the only thing, you know. And then Arj as well. Again, injury worry. We have a lot of players like this. Chiesa, Jota, Gomez, love them as players, but always struggle with injuries. And that's why we shouldn't put the hopes on them. But for a short-term Arj, yes, over a long-term season, but when it happens like this, half a season left, you only need really 2 or 3 good months from him, or 2 months, 2 good clutch months from him, and it changes the whole season sometimes. So yeah, it's
That's exactly what we need. We just need a burst of 5-6 games will do it. Imagine he has the Nunes effect, like in Brentford game, where he comes and changes the direction of a game. For example, tomorrow, let's just say he's in the squad. I don't think he will be because if Jota,
he just said today that he's ready.
But if Jota's back, Nunes is back.
Is Jota back as well now?
Yeah, Jota's back as well.
Holy shit, this is good. You know when you say the name.
Suddenly the optimism on Gags is back, people. Hey,
we miss him. We miss him. He's a killer.
Absolutely.
If he can just stop running into players like we keep saying every week.
Absolutely.
Right?
Slow down, buddy. Slow down there, buddy.
Yeah, just slow down, bro. Like tell us to slow down. You especially stop. There's some news here. LFC announced Besiktas to Las Palmas is done. So 16 minutes ago, there you go. That got cancelled. So Besiktas goes back to Spain now.
Look, talking about sort of being fans of players maybe and seeing attributes and young players, and I'm going to sound like a hypocrite now. And it won't be the first time, and it won't be the last time. But you know, after I gave you the lecture, or everyone else, the lecture about writing off young players, I wrote off Bečić.
So you've written him off now?
In terms of Liverpool.
Yeah, I can see that because I think he didn't do very well at all with Linders, did he? Going over there. I think it's destroyed his confidence a little bit. Was he overhyped for Liverpool as well?
I think he was. I think he came in at a time where our midfielders were dead. They were dead.
Yeah.
And he's the only one who could run. And therefore, he stood out like an absolute beacon.
Yeah.
And shone like a beacon. I genuinely think McConnell will play more minutes overall than Stefan Bečić for Liverpool Football Club. I know a lot of people are massive Stefan Bečić fans and they think I'm a hater. I'm not. I would love nothing more than to eat humble pie over Stefan Bečić. And he comes around and he comes back and he has a brilliant Liverpool career. And I will go on every platform that I'm allowed on to say I was so wrong about Stefan Bečić. I don't know nothing. But I just don't. I never saw, like you never saw the hype about Quansah. I never saw the hype about Bejic. That's my opinion. That's my hot take for the night. I don't know if people think that's a hot take or if they agree or disagree.
No,
but
I think you explained it really well. I think you explained it really well. That was the key. He looked good before. And why did he look good though? Because everybody else was dead.
Oh, they were dead.
They were dead. And so when he came in, he was given a specific role. Just run into people, dude. That's it. Just run into people, get the ball, pass it off to someone who can pass the ball. Done. And that was good for us at that time. But when he actually starts to play football need to play in a proper team with proper footballers, you get found out. You get found out.
Yeah, I think Amika says I'm with, or there was one before you that he's agreeing with you. I'm with Gags. Never saw the Quansah hype. Stefan missed too much football. I don't think he will recover to be at Liverpool. Unfortunate. Amika, you've written off every youngster. Then I think you just want new signings and new players. Looks like by the sounds of it. Sam says Pep Linda's great coach, horrible manager, a bit dysfunctional. Bejic is awesome. Ripped it in preseason. Grizz, you can't always be perfect. Me or Bejic? I mean, please. I can be perfect if I want. But if you're talking about Bejic,
this is a good one. This is a good one.
Really? Is it really?
Some Hendo hate, man. I've hated this guy for ages. It's all good.
But it's none of our. The thing is, right? It's none of our business. He's none of our business now. He can do what he wants, say what he wants, impress, depress sets of fans. Like, it's none of our business, man. Like, all right, Ali, you want to speak on it? I don't. Gags, obviously you do, because you've got vested interest maybe of sort of comments in the past about him or whatever. I don't know. You've got a narrative built up in your head about him. I don't know. I don't care about him.
It sounds like you want to hear it. It sounds like you want to know my narrative. It sounds like
I think I know where you're going with it, but go on.
What is it? What is it? Go on.
No, but go on.
No. I need to know now what you think.
Well, you said it. No, but you already said it. You said I've been thinking he's a knob for ages.
So the one that turned it for me, because I was a big Hendo fan when he first joined the club, so I really wanted him to do well, and he did. And you know what? You'll always look back as one of the most successful captains in history of Liverpool, winning all those trophies. Literally, they got the whole, like, I don't know another captain that's done all of that, right? So, but what pissed me off was when you go to the manager and you get him to go against the whole club to get your contract signed. That is when, things start to go bad. And then after 2 years into that contract signing, the proof of why that managing director did not, didn't want to sign your contract is plain to see for the whole world that you were on the downward spiral. And so when players play those games and then they go to the press and they play games and they make fans go against the club and this and that, and then the signing happens because Klopp has to push it through, that pisses me off. Totally.
Okay.
It's your time. You got a year left. Enjoy it. Firmino, Mane, none of them complained. None of them kicked off. They got the hero send-offs. What did he end up doing? Going to Saudi, tarnished himself. The fans hated him for it. You can do it the right way. Like, listen to me. If Mo, Verge, like we think Verge is signed, if Mo, Verge, Trent, if they didn't sign and they went to hero send-offs this year, I'd be angry that we couldn't get it done. I'd be angry that it was a mix of the worst storm, not perfect storm, because Klopp was leaving, they couldn't sign, they wanted to see how Slot was. By the time they decided that they were like Slot, it was October, November. That's only 2 months from January. They can start looking at other offers. All those things, it's a real tough kind of thing to manage and sign them, right? But if they did go, I would not hate them. I would not hate them. I would want to go to Anfield and give them the hero send-off. I would, because they have been magnificent for us, all three of them. So I don't think we should be hating on any of these three guys, no matter what. No matter what.
Okay, and that's your take and that's your opinion, and I pretty much agree with a lot of what you said. I thought I'm going to end up disagreeing with loads, and we're going to have a to and fro, but I agree with everything that you said. So that's a bit boring. Sorry, guys. You wanted to see a fight. If you sorry guys, if you wanted to see a bit of a to and fro and a scuffle, like me and Gags do argue a lot, but we agree a lot as well. And I agree. Look, Hendo didn't cover himself in glory during the end couple of years. Is that fair to say? And I think that's fair to say. Okay,
Yeah.
Eddie, I know about his him and Dave's hate for Hendo is legendary. Big up Dave Hendrick, who's a friend of mine now, an old
So
foe.
Hendo's agent is apparently.
This is what I was telling you. But this is where I'm coming to. So the Hendo situation is not only about Hendo. Why was Klopp allowed to be dictated? Right? I would criticize Klopp for that as well, if that's the case. If you made Klopp go against the club's direction, right? And B, how much of influence do the agents play in players' roles? I.e., the Trent Alexander-Arnold's brother, who is the agent of Hendo and Trent. And we know the games his camp are playing with the Trent scenario. And obviously it's come to fruition or come to the to everyone's eyes and light what Hendo's doing, right? So
trying to make Trent's brother some money.
Well, this is it. Well, Trent's brother's trying to make himself some money by using his clients, right? And so not all the blame's always on Trent or Henderson or the said player, or even Salah maybe in Rami Abbas's situation.
Yeah.
So there's always a combination, or there's always a culmination of things. But I agree with you. I think Hendo left in a very sorry state. Didn't like the way it all transpired and it happened. And he didn't get the send off that he probably deserved after sweating blood and guts for this club. So I have the utmost respect for him from that aspect, because he sweated. Not the most talented midfielder we've ever had, not the most skillful player that we've ever had, but I tell you what, in terms of sweat and blood, ran his guts off out, if there's such a phrase. If there isn't, we've just made up one. Ran his guts off for Liverpool Football Club. So you have to pay your respects for that. But yes, the way it ended, it wasn't great. But listen, well, a respect Hendo section when I step in for Gags in a couple of weeks. Eddie, I'll look forward to that.
Yeah, because it's going to be Gibbs and Grizz in a couple of weeks, because I'm away with work for a week. We can still do it.
It'll still be G&G. It'll still be chat and G&G.
Exactly. That's why we're doing it, because it's like, hey, I'm going to go away for a week. And Gibbs, I said, Gibbs, it's got to be you, because it's then still G&G. So he goes,
but we must end the show, and time has absolutely flown again, and we're coming up to an hour. If you haven't liked the stream, please do so right now. I don't know what the numbers are like today. I bet you are still watching on Twitter or Facebook or whatever. Get over to the YouTube, guys. Get over to the YouTube. Come on, we're going to do the Steve McLaren meme again. Come on.
The embarrassing meme.
We're gonna keep doing it because we're shameless. I think you got a last super chat of the night before we close.
Chris, lad, thank you so much, and we'll plug super chats in a minute too. Chris, if Hendo wasn't captain when Klopp came in, you think he would have been binned off? Yes, he ran his guts off. He did cost us points time and again. The team cost us points as well. I mean, I'm not going to go all the way back into that again.
Chris, it's
we did achieve a lot with him in the team. Other players cost us as well. Trent did, Mo did, missed chances. Everybody missed. It wasn't just him. There's been points lost across the board. I think it's harsh to go in just on that, but he won everything as a captain for Klopp, and Klopp loved him. It doesn't matter, like you say, if Hendo wasn't captain when Klopp came in. I think his attitude, how he kept the players together, he did do all of that with Verge and because it was started to become a real close-knit unit. And Klopp, Pep, whoever there was, everybody said he's the captain. He's a good guy. He works hard. Yeah, he got selfish at the end. Everyone has weak points. Everyone loves the club too much to leave a good thing. That's what's happening. That's what happened there. He didn't want to leave. He forced it to stay. It backfired. Was it a wrong move? Yes, it was. Do I hate him for it? Yes, I do. Did I wish it didn't happen? Absolutely, I wish it didn't happen, because I'd rather he'd got the hero send-off. I'm now reacting to what happened. If he took me back in time and he left at that point, I would have been standing there, clapping my hands, cheering him on as he leaves the club as a hero.
Yeah. But listen, we don't want to end it on looking back. We want to end it on looking forward, and looking forward is an absolute, I think, Slot's biggest game of his Liverpool tenure so far, because that's the way I look at it now. Every game is his biggest game of his tenure so far.
Every game.
Go on then.
Right, we've got a few seconds left. So before Grizz's hour's up here with us. But you've got another one to do going
to do a preview. I'm going to do a mini preview, but it's not going to be live. I'm going to do a pre-record.
But we're going to cut it short here. We just want to say a massive thank you to all those people sending in super chats. That's something new we switched on. Please do keep those super chats coming in. We really appreciate it. Thank you for all the support. Grizz and I will be back next week. I think it might have to be Friday again, Grizz, because we play Thursday next week. So following this, yes, we play Spurs, second leg at Anfield. Big week coming up, huge. I think every week is huge. Really,
bring it on. This is what we are in the game for. Absolutely. Bring it on.
In fact, I hated that yesterday was a dead rubber, even though I wanted the rest done. But it's nice when we're competitive. It's not as fun to watch when you know a game doesn't matter. So yeah, every game is going to matter going forward, apart from Plymouth. But yeah, we're going to enjoy it. Okay. So thank you so much, everyone in the chat. Thanks, everyone. We will just shake this up because he wants to be clear because he's giving us some super chats. Yep, we got it, Chris. Thank you. He did his best. That's it. Don't like his attitude now. But for everybody else, we hope your attitudes are positive and ready for tomorrow where we go to Bournemouth and we want those 3 points. So from Grizz
and from Gags,
up the Reds.